My name is Lisa Scales, and over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the challenges we as a business face from a skills shortages perspective, and how our technology partner, Lumes, is helping us to address some of those issues. So if I move over to the first slide, I can actually introduce myself, even though, actually I'll just run through what we're talking about. Talking a bit about Severn Trent, talking about skills shortages in the utility sector, our journey with Lumes, which has been not without some challenges, and I'll be happy to share those steps with you. And then I'm going to open it up, and if you've got any questions, please do ask me. If you're absolutely desperate to ask me something whilst the presentation's happening, stick your hand up. So a little bit about me. I joined Severn Trent in January last year, so nearly 18 months ago. And prior to that, I actually ran my own recruitment technology business for 10 years. So I've got a bit of a different lens because I've been vendor side as well as client side. And as Jeremy alluded to, prior to that, I've worked in both financial services, legal, in-house RPO, and also agency side. Yes, I am that old. So if we move on, and I will explain a little bit about who we are. So when I was first approached about the job at Severn Trent, would you like to work for a water business in the West Midlands, more specifically Coventry? That was initially a no thanks, I'll leave it if you don't mind. It didn't seem that interesting. I was urged to have a closer look, and actually what I did find was a really, really exciting business. And I actually hadn't really contemplated the size of the business and actually how important it was from a national infrastructure perspective. So, so everybody thinks the rain falls out of the sky and it miraculously appears in our taps, in our showers, in our loos, and pretty much it does. It's fairly frictionless from an end user point of view. There's a lot that goes on behind in terms of treatment of water and disposal of wastewater. So just in terms of region, Severn Trent, the name is in the clue's in the name in terms of there are two major trunk rivers that run through the region, the River Severn, the River Trent. And we span from Mid Wales over to the East Midlands and from Grimsby down to Gloucester. So we are a huge business in terms of area. And we're a huge business in terms of revenues. We're a FTSE 100 business. And we are one of the largest regulated water and waste disposal businesses in the UK. In fact, there are 3 that are listed on the stock exchange, us being one of them. And we cover an area of around 19,500 square kilometres. Huge region. We've got 72,000 kilometres of water pipes, which were all built pretty much in the Victorian era. And on days like this, we love rain. We absolutely love rain. So we do a rain dance pretty much most mornings. However, what that gives us, we are currently experiencing an incident. If anybody lives in Birmingham that's come from up here this morning, you don't have any water if you are in B68 because the pipes overnight have all popped. So I've got details on my phone of how many people are off supply, and we are in incident mode this morning. So this is how critical our business is to making the world go round in a nice, safe way in terms of clean water. So there's 6,800 rivers in our region. We supply 1.2 billion litres of water a day to 8 million customers. We are scarce of water. We have a shortage of water. Please stop using tons of water and stop having baths. So that's a bit about Severn Trent. How we are regulated. This is fairly dry. We are regulated by various different organisations. Primarily Ofwat is our main regulator. They set our pricing. But the Drinking Water Inspectorate, the DWI, is one of our I suppose, most regulated sides of the business. This means that you're not in hospital having drunk a glass of water out of a tap. So our Drinking Water Inspectorate, we take 2,000 samples a day. If any of those samples find themselves with any contamination in them, we are fined £500,000 per contamination. So as you can see, it is absolutely critical for us to have the right skills working for our business. And these skills are highly technical skills, as well as we have such a vast range of people in our business that you name it, we have it. That leads me on to talking about our skills shortages. So we have a number of environmental and external factors that are really affecting our business at the moment. This is a heady mix which creates a perfect storm. We were founded in 1974 as a local authority water business, and then obviously privatised, and have received billions of pounds of investment through our shareholding. You've probably seen on the news, who has seen on the news about the renationalisation debate? And all opposing parties in the government are wanting to renationalise us and put us back into the public sector. It's going to cost the government, if they get into power, the opposing party, £90 billion to renationalise us, but it is a threat. And the interesting thing is, from an executive point of view, that we are already seeing people being slightly warier about roles within our business from a leadership point of view in case we are renationalised. It's not seen as being a sexy place to go and work because of our ongoing debate. So we're doing lots of campaigning, and hopefully we will remain in a privatised sector which enables us to rebuild our infrastructure and maintain it. So obviously we've got the Brexit debate going on. Brexit for us, the primary importance for us on Brexit actually isn't about people. We are a local regional business, so we don't have a lot of overseas workers working for us. What we're actually struggling with is chemical supply for Brexit. If we're in a no-deal Brexit situation, we have 3 weeks' supply of perishable chemicals, so stock up on water bottles if we're in a no-deal situation. So we've got automation as well. We've got robots going through our pipe work to find leaks. So we need, and we do leak detection by satellite as well as drones. So the skills that we require in terms of technology is becoming more and more evident, and this is a real challenge for us because, again, a developer being attracted to come and work for a water business in Coventry, we have to work twice as hard as Jaguar Land Rover down the road that give all their developers really nice cars. We give them a free water bottle. We've also got our supply chain, which is at risk. Who would have thought that Carillion would have gone bust last year? There's a huge amount of uncertainty in our outsourced areas, which means that we've got weakening in our supply chain. Again, it's a risk for us. And as I said, we don't have much water. Everybody's like, it rains all the time. We literally don't have much water. Our reservoirs are running low. In fact, last year, one of our reservoirs ran empty. So we are needing to innovate to address this and ensure that we're doing everything we possibly can as a business to keep our water safe. So, in terms of more locally, we need 221,000 recruits into our sector over the next 10 years. That's a huge, huge amount of people. We have an aging workforce. 20% of the engineers that work in our industry will retire in the next 5 years. We're going to lose a fifth of our workforce. And 36% of our jobs are really hard to fill because of the skills gap that we are seeing. So one of my remits is we have our graduate and new talent programs, and we're having to think about our build, buy, grow strategy constantly in terms of how we can develop our own skills internally. That actually is quite a big investment. It's one of those things where we have to do it, but it is hugely expensive to get somebody competent to run our water networks. And skills are becoming increasingly transferable. This is a really interesting one. We're seeing more and more of our people, even the guys that dig holes in roads for us and fix water pipes, we're seeing more and more of these people going to different industries. Construction industry is our biggest competitor in terms of losing people. We're a 24/7 operation. You can go and put bricks, lay bricks for new houses Monday to Friday and earn a third more than you can if you dig holes in our roads at 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So as you can see, it is a perfect storm for us in terms of political, environmental, and even more locally in terms of how we are attracting and maintaining and retaining the best talent for our business. So, how is Lumess helping us do this? So let me just give you a bit of an idea about our resourcing journey. It's been an interesting one. So as I said to you, I joined in January 2018. I entered a really interesting time based on the fact that Severn Trent had enjoyed a fairly unhealthy RPO relationship with 2 RPOs prior to me joining, one for 2 years and then previously 3 years. And the interesting thing for me is that over the last 18 months, what I've come to realize when I first joined, I was a bit like, why hasn't this worked? You know, I've been in an RPO situation which has been highly successful, had a great relationship. Why did it fundamentally break down? And you know, what's going on? The interesting thing for me is us as an expert client, we weren't and aren't in a fit position from a maturity perspective to actually have an RPO relationship. And that's quite hard for me to stand up and say that. But actually, as a business, we've got hiring managers that have been in the business 35 years. I sit in meetings regularly and they'll say, in 1974, and I'll be like, I was 1. I don't even know about that era. And so actually, having this RPO relationship, it was too advanced for our business. So the decision was made to insource. And actually, this is obviously pre me joining, but I landed in a business in January in a pretty unhealthy state in terms of the relationship. Recruitment didn't have a great reputation. It was on its knees in terms of the recruiters were feeling unloved. Some of them had chupied across from the RPO. We had lifted and shifted the Lumess Talent Link platform from RPO in-house. Now, the interesting thing is for me, transformation of something that's already there is a lot harder than a blank sheet of paper. And actually, the decision was made to carry over the technology, and it was the right decision in terms of stability of platform. There was a lot of data on there, and we needed to, because we were delivering a fairly average service to the business, you know, we needed to maintain some sort of same. Now, the interesting thing for me is sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards. And what I realized very, very quickly is that the hiring manager population, who basically when they created a job, they would go onto Talent Link and create the job themselves. There was no interaction with the recruiters. And I literally looked at this team of 35 people and I was like, what are you doing? Go and make some relationships with the hiring managers. Go and speak to them. When they have a vacancy, go and learn about our business so that you can recruit better for them. So we actually removed the hiring manager access from Talent Link for the hiring manager population. Now, I appreciate some businesses can't do that because of scale. We recruit 2,000 people a year. And so the team of recruiters had to actually go out and actually start talking to the business. And really, it was probably a bit longer than overnight, but overnight, there was a bit of change. The noise died down because these recruiters were actually being recruiters. So I always have it in my mind that that was going to be reintroduced. But as I say, don't be afraid to actually go, do you know what? This doesn't make any sense. If anybody's telling you, even from vendor side or in your business, that this is the process we have to follow, we hear it all the time. Challenge that process and go, what is best for my customer that is sitting there highly frustrated about the recruitment process? So let's just move on. In June, so again, I scratched my head a bit and I was like, why are our graduate and apprentices on a completely different ATS to our experienced hires? So I'm trying to address skill shortages. I'm trying to see what's coming over the hill in terms of our workforce planning, which again, we're not very good at. And I couldn't understand why our new talent programs were in silo and working totally separately to the rest of the business. So these hiring managers weren't even having a conversation with the recruiters about a fully rounded service in the sense of, yeah, we can take a team of 3 people, but actually, if we take an apprentice on, by the time that person is ready to be a successor for the next role, this person will be ready. So there weren't even any of those conversations going on. So got rid of the other platform, brought the new talent candidates over into the Talent Link platform. So even though we took steps back, we've also taken steps forward in terms of integrating our services and our offering to the business. So we implemented the onboarding tracker within Talent Link as well. Again, completely siloed, team of 8 people doing onboarding over there. And I was like, what are they all doing over there? Oh, they're the onboarders, and they use an Excel spreadsheet with a 100-column tracker. Kill me now. So we have implemented the onboarding tracker within the Talent Link platform. Again, I'm trying to get all our data in one place. I'm trying to understand what we're doing as a business and the service that we're providing. So again, we're just aggregating everything together. By December, Lumes very, very kindly said, right, you've done some stuff. We appreciate you've got your hiring managers over here and being loved and the service has improved, but actually it would be really good for us to come in and do a health check. And I welcome that with open arms. And one of my messages today is about making friends with your vendor. Don't just sit there and whinge about your applicant tracking system. Everybody does it. It's like a national sport in our industry. And actually, these are the experts. And they know the system inside out. And I can absolutely tell you, having built an ATS, there are more complexities in the platform than us as end users and recruiters will see. So utilize the business that is supplying you and don't see them as a supplier. See them as a partnership and get that relationship back on track. So, health check implementation. So this is what we have been doing since the health check that happened in December. So just to recap, we've got problems in terms of skill shortages. We are heavily regulated. So our need to fill critical roles in our business is absolutely there. And we also have some external factors that are creating friction in our business. So it makes for a very perfect storm of challenges, I think the word is. So some of the outcomes in terms of how Lumes have helped us, and this message is about let's get back to some basics and let the vendor help you do your job more effectively. I don't want to even think about it. I just want it to happen, so that I can actually build relationships. Because as recruiters, it's a human business, it's not a technology business. So these are just some of the things, and some amongst many of the stuff that we are implementing and have implemented just to create a better service, but also give the recruiters some time to be recruiters. So our vetting and offer process. So we brought the onboarding tracker in place. We have various levels of vetting for the business. We have direct dial to number 10. if you can't supply water to 8 million people, you've pretty much got the ear of the Prime Minister at all times, which means that our security checking goes right up to MOD level, which is actually quite scary because they end up knowing stuff about you that you really probably don't want them to know. And so we brought the vetting and offer process into the system. And given what was said earlier about the statistic on, was it 91% of candidates expect an offer within, what, 3 weeks? I find that unbelievable that they don't expect an offer within 3 days. Anyway, astounding. We've managed to reduce our vetting and offer process down from a heady 6 weeks. We get contracts out now within 24 hours, and the vetting takes, it can take up to actually about 100 days, but that's due to the security clearances that we need to do. So we've implemented CV parsing and apply with LinkedIn. This is wonderful. Does everybody know what CV parsing is? Take data out of CV, populate automatically into fields, and it gives the candidate a better experience. You don't spend hours doing stuff that you feel like you've given that information already. We've got responsive apply, so we are utilizing mobile far more and giving our candidates the ability to apply on the hoof. A lot of our candidates won't have a desktop. As you can imagine, they're out in the field, and we want them to be able to apply for jobs with us really, really quickly. The proactive sourcing piece is great, and this enables us to be recruiters in the sense of going out and finding people as well. So, and it links into Stack Overflow and various other CV databases which we can go and source proactively, which the recruiters just weren't doing. They were just spray and praying. Our redeployment process has now been automated. It was completely manual. And our job approval process, that was an interesting one because we were still in RPO territory. So we were getting approvals from every man and his dog and his cat. So now we have streamlined that, and we are in a good position in terms of getting the right approvals at the right time. So something else that we've done is we've introduced Customer Success Manager from Lumes. So lots of businesses go down the route of having a systems admin person. They tend to be fairly geeky and tend to be fairly analytic based, whereas we actually want somebody that can help us adopt the system better. And you know, user adoption of technology is actually one of the biggest challenges. The technology, the choosing of the technology, the buying of the technology, even wrangling with procurement and legal is easy. It's the adoption of that. So make a decision. If you're going to keep the tech that you are currently using, learn to love it and get help. So we now have a customer success manager. It's great. It's really moved the relationship on in terms of how we interact. But also, we've learnt so much. And so I would absolutely say to you to look at how you can move the relationship on. So what's happening going forward? One of the most exciting things for me is, sorry about the pictures, one of the most exciting things for me is about configurable workflows. So what we're doing is actually making it far easier for our shorter skill supply to apply for roles. So, for example, if we've got an engineer, oh no, let me use the one we've recruited this week because I'm very proud that we've got a female hydrologist starting with us. And, you know, having that type of person, which is in such rare supply, and some of the roles that we recruit for, we did a bit of an analysis, and hydrologists are like hen's teeth. If we can make their application absolutely seamless, frictionless, don't put gates in their way, don't ask them stupid filter questions that they just think are these people as dumb as they look on screen, and actually really make it just give us your name, give us your number, give us your email address. We'll have a conversation with you. So we've gone into more conversational mode with our people that we're looking for have rare skills. Now, the people on the other end of the spectrum, we've got a 400-person call centre up in Derbyshire. We get about 200 applications per role there. That's where you do want to put some gates in the way, and you do want to raise the quality and make sure that you are getting the right person without having to do a whole heap of work in terms of screening people. So configurable workflows are, in my view, really, really exciting, because then we can have, essentially, you end up having 15 to 20 different workflows depending on the journey. You as recruiters need to work out the personas in your business. So who are the people that you want that frictionless journey for? And really push your vendors for that, because it's easy to do these days. And you end up having 15 different experiences, and that sounds a little bit messy, but actually, I want these people to get to us really, really quickly, as and when they should be. So we're also tapping into marketplace. A lot of vendors have gone down this route in terms of creating alliances with partners. 10 years ago, every tech vendor and their ego said that they could build whatever code they wanted, and they'd build every single thing out, and you could be a one-stop shop. Actually, now it's about best of breed and being flexible. So having an open API, being able to lock into maybe existing technologies that you're already using, but also being able to you know, pick and choose and go, actually, I want to use that video interviewing supplier over there. I've heard some great things, and actually for our business, they're the best one for us to use. So we're going to do more on the mobile. Again, our hiring managers, there's a lot of people out in the field. We have about 2,500 people office-based. The rest of them, and we have about 7,000 people, the rest of them are out at our over 1,000 water treatment works and reservoirs and sewage treatment works. So we've got a lot of sites that don't have desktops that somebody can go in and authorize a vacancy or move somebody, give somebody some feedback. So mobile enablement to us is a really key thing going forward. And some reporting. So we're going to try and go from basic data reporting and standard templates to insight reporting, and actually start leading the conversation with data versus retrospectively telling people what the history's been. So we're on a journey. It's not it's not without its challenges. We're getting there, and we're making some things are transformative, some things are incremental improvement, and we are nudging, going towards the improvement side constantly. But I think the message today is a little bit about actually working with your vendor, getting back to basics. Don't be afraid to take stuff out of a process. If it isn't working, take it out. Give these candidates a break and give them a better experience. And I think there's also something around being very, very aware of the environment you're recruiting in and understanding the challenges of your industry. We've certainly got them in our industry. As I've said before, it's political. It's also with regards to demographic and also region. You know, Coventry, it's not exactly centre of the universe, so, you know, we do have some challenges there. I can't go anywhere and speak without talking about some water-saving tips. I don't sleep at night if you don't all learn about how you can save some water. I'm quite glad it's raining today. Did a bit of a rain dance this morning. Start taking showers. They're far more hygienic anyway, and you'll save up to 50%. So it's quite funny because I actually work away during the week in Coventry, and when I get home, my daughters will say, "Daddy, let us have a bath on Tuesday." So please, take showers, not baths. Watch out for leaking loos. You can lose hundreds of litres of water with a leaking loo. Use a water butt in your garden to collect rain. Use this to water the plants. Also, use it to wash your car. And only use the dishwasher when it's full. It's amazing how much water can be used when you've just got a cereal bowl and 1 spoon. And also turn off the tap when you brush your teeth. So please do all those things. Can you all nod to me and say that you will now start doing that? That's great. Thank you very much for coming to listen. And any questions?